Welcome back, everyone, to the Six Pennies podcast. We've done 40 podcasts. Can you believe that, Mock and Timmy?
40?
40.
Wow,
We've done 40.
crazy.
We're
That's pretty
either
good.
really stupid or just we like to hear ourselves talk or something.
A little of both.
Yeah. But today we're gonna do some NBA news. We're gonna do mostly about Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant and their relationship, and then we'll get into a little bit about the NBA. So how are you guys doing?
Pretty good. It's Friday. Are we like trying to go backwards or something? Isn't it Westbrook KD stuff like 4 months old?
Well, it's kind of. I was going to add it to a pocket change from way back with a question from Chelsea Chen asking about KD and Westbrook. But I figured now's a good time while Westbrook is still relevant for a couple more days.
Oh,
Wait, what?
nice.
What does that mean, Mock?
It just means if the Rockets take care of business, then a lot of MVP voters will be a little red in the face.
Do you guys think it'll even get to a game 5?
Yeah.
What about you, Mock?
I put 5. I think it's going to be a gentleman's sweep. I really hope they finish it in 4 because I'm not going to be able to watch Game 5.
We're recording this on the eve of Game 3, so I mean it's definitely possible there's already a Game 5 by the time people listen to this. But yeah, I mean I can't see the Thunder not pulling one game out, especially at home. But yeah, probably 5 total.
Yeah, so
I just hope they win. We'll hope the Rockets win tonight, and then the Thunder can win Game 4 if they want.
Yeah, so we'll get into Russell Westbrook. Like you said, they're down 0-2. We're on the eve of Game 3. He just had like a crazy 50-point triple-double in a losing effort, which is basically the theme of his year this year, is like crazy stats, but they still lose. Do you think it was right of Kevin Durant to leave OKC for Golden State for that very reason?
It's a very complicated topic. I feel like, but when it's
I don't think it's that complicated.
No, what do you think?
No, I don't think it's complicated. I think he was definitely. I mean, it's every right of his to leave, and I don't know. Watching him this year, seeing how he was playing, hogging the ball, like I wouldn't want to play with him. It doesn't look fun, especially if I were really good as well. I wouldn't want to just have to stand there and wait until he decides to pass it to me. Otherwise, he's kind of driving in, flailing his arms, or jacking jumpers that he shouldn't really be shooting. That doesn't sound fun.
Yeah, so I've been on this huge...
Were they not like a top 3 team last year?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's because they had like great talent. Just those 2 guys combined is awesome, but it's not fun, and they didn't get to the pinnacle. So it was time to go somewhere else.
Yeah, so for me, I don't really mind that KD left. It's just the place that he chose to, the place that he decided to go to. Like, I feel like going to Golden State is such a big cop out because it's the same team that they just lost to. So it's like instead of trying to beat them, you're just gonna leave and join them. Like I don't mind him leaving, but I guess just joining the Golden State part is very, very weak in my opinion.
Yeah, that's definitely 2 different questions. First one is, should he leave? And I would say yes. Second one, should he have joined Golden State? Probably not. Like you said, it's probably not the best thing, but at the same time, it gives them the best chance to win. It's a bunch of players who like to pass to each other, who are having fun. It's a really great city or environment in Northern California versus Oklahoma. I don't blame him that much, or at least not as much as you, Albie. I'm a pretty big KD fan, and I'm fine with it. I mean, it's not like this hasn't been done where people have joined their rivals. I mean, LeBron to the Heat. It's not like the Heat were there people that beat him, but they were a rival. Ray Allen going to the Heat after losing to them with the Celtics immediately, and now the whole Celtics team hates him. But still, I mean, same kind of thing, right?
Okay, so let's talk about that real quick. So Ray Allen, you mentioned him. Obviously, or at least I think, KD is on a different level. Can we all agree on that? Okay.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about transcendent player, like once in a generation player, like KD is, a lot more has to come into play than just what gives you the best chance to win, right? When it comes to a player of that magnitude, like he has to be thinking of at least a little bit about his own legacy. But Albert, let me ask you this: since you're kind of our resident LeBron fanatic.
Yeah.
Do you compare? How do you compare KD's move to Golden State with LeBron's move to Miami?
I think LeBron's move to Miami was. Sorry about that, guys. I think LeBron's move to Miami wasn't as bad as Kevin Durant going to Golden State because Miami didn't have a team yet. Like they had Dwayne Wade and they had like Udonis Haslem and stuff. Like they were like the Miami centerpieces, but they still built that team by bringing in LeBron and Chris Bosh and Mike Miller and Shane Battier and all these guys that wanted to play with LeBron because they thought it was a path to the championship. Whereas with Kevin Durant, he's joining a team that already won 2 years ago and then set the record for the most regular season victories with 73 last year. And it's like, it's already a team that was made, like it was tailor-made for a championship, and he's just joining in, and he's not like a difference maker. Especially like this year when he came out, because of injury, they actually played better without him. And I'm not saying they're a better team without Kevin Durant, because Kevin Durant to me is like the second best player in the world.
What? That's not what you said on our top NBA players pod.
Yeah. And
I'm the only one that had KD second, just letting people know.
I instantly retracted Kawhi Leonard because I watched Kawhi that night and I was like, he's really, really good. Like, he's awesome defensively and pretty good offensively, but he's not on Kevin Durant's like level in my opinion. And so my point was the move that LeBron made was a lot less worse than Kevin Durant's move.
Albie, I think you're getting confused. Sounds like you're mixing things up a little bit, and rightfully so, because I think LeBron's move was just as bad as KD's, especially with the decision and the way he did it, and just.
But the decision is not the actual move. I'm talking about the move. Like, yeah, the decision everyone hates. Like, everyone hates that it was an ESPN special. I was in Europe at the time in Athens, and I woke up at 4 a.m. just to watch this ESPN special on TV on my netbook. And then he also had like the pep rally when he joined Miami, saying that he'll win like 4, 5, 6, 7 championships. That's what people hated. But the actual move wasn't as weak as Kevin Durant because Miami wasn't like a juggernaut at the time. Golden State is.
Yeah, I mean, Golden State did lose last year, though. I know that they won the year before and they had a ton of wins or the most wins last year, but they lost in the finals. And if they hadn't, we know that KD wouldn't have joined them, right? The only reason why he joined them one of the biggest reasons is that they couldn't beat the Warriors, and then with his current team, and then the Warriors couldn't win either. So I don't know. I just feel like it all has to be taken into account. Like revisionist history says, oh, decision wasn't that bad. Like the move itself was fine. It's the decision, the TV stuff was maybe worse or something. But at the time, everybody was killing LeBron, and you know that. That's why he didn't win MVP that year. And that whole narrative comes into play with it. And I think it's just as bad as KD's in total.
I'm starting to agree. I think both decisions were obviously really bad. It's just so LeBron. Yeah, you can say that team wasn't formed yet. Obviously, he wasn't going to like a 73 win Miami team. But at the same time, like all the reasons that KD had for leaving, maybe not having the best time with Westbrook, he's hard to play with, etc. That wasn't the case with Cleveland back at then. Like he didn't have those problems. He pretty much had GM responsibilities. He could bring in whoever he wanted to play with. They were having fun. You remember them posing and doing all the camera stuff before the games and stuff with Mo Williams and everyone else on the team. But KD, I think the biggest takeaway for me there was just the indecision that he had. It seemed like every single interview, every single location he went to try out. He said, I'm pretty sure he said in the piece, like he was really close to joining the Celtics. He was really like wherever he went, like they swayed him really badly. And I still remember the moment that we found out about his decision. I think I was in Dallas over July 4th weekend last year, and I remember it because it was a couple of days before my son was born, and I was upstairs just like kind of groggy, waking up from a long night's sleep in Albert's guest bedroom, and then he just texted me. He's like, KD chose the Warriors, and I was just the whole rest of the day I was just kind of in disbelief, like just because like KD had so much goodwill built up, not just from
That's
being
true.
like a good basketball player, but also from where he came from going from DC area to UT. So UT background, like we all loved him, and now I feel he's used it all up. Like all of us, it sounds like maybe with the exception of you, Timothy, like we all hate him now.
Love KD. I don't know what you guys are talking
Yeah,
about.
see,
And I don't know. I mean, LeBron, when he left and went to Miami, barely anybody saw that coming too. And he was like courting all the teams and leaving everybody in the dark, and nobody knew where he was going to go. It's not like KD is doing something like Dwight Howard and literally changing his mind every couple days and talking to the media and stuff. I think he did what all the players do now. He took a bunch of meetings. He said it went really well every single time, or maybe not even him, his agents or somebody else said it. And then ultimately he made his choice. 2-3 years ago, we thought Chris Bosh was coming to Houston, right? And then he changed his mind and went to Miami. This stuff just happens.
so how do you feel about Russell Westbrook and his reaction to KD leaving? Like this, this like I don't know, like this comeback tour, so to speak, that Russell Westbrook has been on all year, just playing like relentless basketball. Sure, he's going for every statistic there is, and he's missing shots and running to the rebounds and things that like normal people don't do anymore. But he's just like, for sure, he has like a vendetta against KD and Golden State and just that whole fan base. How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, so the thing I love about Westbrook is he's one of the few players that is better when he's angry. Like he plays really good angry. And normally on a day-to-day basis, like I hate when people are petty. Like I can't stand it. But like the only time that I really enjoy it is when it comes to NBA or just athletics in general, when people are really petty, just like how Russell Westbrook has been petty this entire year. Like starting with the cupcake picture on July 4th, like right after KD's decision, and then going with like coming to the game dressed in a photographer outfit. Like it was all really good.
I think Westbrook had every right to be petty. Even though I think KD had the right to leave, I understand Westbrook not liking that. He must be a little butthurt from it, right? And it's amazing what he's done, taking over games, being a one-man wrecking crew the entire season. It's definitely impressive. And the pettiness, I think, is fine. I just don't really like Westbrook in general. Like it just doesn't seem like it would be fun to play with him, and he just seems really cocky and arrogant to me.
Yeah, to go off that point, I do agree that I don't mind the cockiness and arrogant part because I think that makes great players great. But I think the whole other teammates not having fun or other teammates not even getting to play how they usually play, like. So I watched the end of Game 2 with, Houston and OKC, and I basically just saw, like, Victor Oladipo just become, like, a YMCA guy that just swings the ball. Like, he's not trying to dribble, he's not trying to, like, even read the defense. He catches the ball and looks directly at Russell Westbrook. And then
that's been him the entire season, not just that game.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming, and it's like, as a teammate, so the other 11 guys on the team, they're probably thinking like, am I allowed to shoot right now? Can I dribble right now? Like, what am I supposed to do? Just give it to Russell? Like, it's definitely like painful to watch, and like I know he's been just throwing up crazy numbers, and he's most likely gonna win the MVP just because his peers and media members just love what he's been doing this year. But to be honest with you, I'm jumping off slowly, not 100% yet, but I'm slowly jumping off like the Westbrook train. I think
join me.
Yeah,
join me.
It's just like I've been such a big fan of his. Like, a lot of it was because of like just trying to be a contrarian, but at the same time, I just felt like he was the alpha even when Kevin Durant was on the team, and so that's why I respected him more because he got all the blame, even though I think it should have been Durant at the time. But for me, I'm kind of going back to maybe not being a fan of his because just the way his playing style today. And I know with you, Mock, like you started off hating him, and then now you're I think this season you started to like him more. So where are you at now?
Yeah, so I've gone full 180 the opposite direction. I used to hate him. I hated him when he first came in the league. You guys know Facebook Memories. I saw a post of mine a while back with the status on Facebook saying that this was back the year they made the finals, OKC versus the Heat. And
Yeah.
I said, Russell Westbrook will never win a ring. And I remember being like so mad at him, and I blamed like losses on him, and a little bit rightfully so back then, I think. But I think his game has matured a bit. He's not as out of control. His shot selection is a little better, but he's still it's still really hard for him, whether it's the complement of players around him or what. But he can't get the rest of his players developed or involved in the rest of the game. Like even when KD was there last year, they were dynamic just because they would like take turns going ISO, right?
Yeah.
And then the other person would just turn into a stand-up or a standstill shooter. But as of right now, he's gone from one of my most hated to one of my most loved players. Like it's just so easy for me to cheer for him now. And that's one of the reasons I didn't want to face OKC in the first round. Not because I was scared of the Thunder, but because I wanted to root for him. Like I wanted to root for him against another team. But obviously now I can't.
Timmy, weren't you a little scared of the Thunder heading into the playoffs as a Rockets fan?
I mean, scared as in like I was scared that Westbrook would do some amazing things and carry them to a couple of victories maybe, but not really scared to lose 4 out of 7. Like that's very, very tough against the Rockets. I mean, they got to score 115 points a game or something. Even if Westbrook's scoring like 40, 50, still don't know where the rest of the points are going to come from. Like they can't do that 4 times in 7 games.
Yeah. So we mentioned, how it's really hard to play with Westbrook, right? But who do you think in the NBA, who would be a perfect complement for him? Like, what kind of player does OKC need to bring in?
So I think Russell Westbrook, his like skill level is pretty good. I would say is like average to above average. I think what sets him apart is his like motor. I think he has the best motor in the game, and then just his sheer athleticism. And I think that's slowly gonna wither away as just naturally father time is gonna get him. So if we're talking about like complement now versus complement in like 5 years, I think it would be completely different players. But for now, I think he just needs like 4 spot up shooters. Like he just needs 4 people that can spot up at the 3, so two corners and then 2 like free throw line extended, and then he just isos up top. It's gonna be really ugly offense, but I think that's just all he needs. It's basically like it's basically Derrick Rose.
Rockets.
Derrick Rose, when he won the MVP, it was like that in the fourth quarter. Like they try to play team ball for 3 quarters every game, and then in the fourth quarter they just ISO Derrick Rose for like 15 possessions, and they hope for him to get like 10 baskets out of that. But yeah,
I mean, do you think Westbrook on the Rockets this year would have won 55 games?
That's a great question because I think he is he's not a pretty passer. Like he's not gonna throw a Chris Paul lob or like a James Harden like kick pass. Like it's not gonna be pretty, but I think his passing is still pretty effective. And I think if he had Eric Gordon, Ryan Anderson, like Lou Williams, I think they would be close to 55 wins.
I don't know who could go well with Russell Westbrook. I mean, like you said, Victor Oladipo, right? You need somebody who can defer to him all the time. Ideally, someone who can shoot really well too, or several guys who can shoot really well. I don't know who the star is that would go for that. I don't know who the big man is either, who's okay with like not getting a lot of touches. How come like Steven Adams? I thought last year he was so good in the playoffs, right? He was like one of the best like young big guys who is up and coming. Who's going to be great, and he's pretty much the same this year. It didn't seem like he did anything. Do you think that's Westbrook's fault? Like, should he be better by now?
Yeah, not only is he not the same, I think him and the rest of the team, they've actually taken steps back individually in terms of development wise. And I think that is like just because of this like crazy season that Westbrook is having. Like it's so blatant and obvious. Like, he's going for the MVP. The coaching staff is allowing him to go for the MVP, and the teammates are buying in it to it too. So it's like they're not really playing basketball. They're really just playing like 1-on-5 pickup basketball. And to me, it's really like it sucks to watch because I don't think that's how NBA basketball should be. But at the same time, like if they're not gonna stand up for themselves, then Westbrook's just gonna like run all over you.
I mean, if that's the case, I can't see him with the Rockets winning 55 games because part of what was great about Harden is that he helps a lot of those guys get better or bring out the best of themselves. And I've played with guys in pickup, I'm sure you guys have too, who just like ball hog a lot, and you just kind of wait there until they pass. Like, it's kind of how I feel every time I play with Mock, actually.
Jeez.
Just kidding. No, there's this guy I played with here in LA, and it's like he's great at making shots. He makes some great passes, but you're kind of just waiting. And you catch the ball, you got to shoot it, and if you miss, he kind of gets upset. Or if you don't pass it to him at the right time, he gets upset. It's just not fun, and then it doesn't bring out the best in you. You don't really want to try as hard.
Yeah.
I feel like if that were the case, if he were with the Rockets with guys like Eric Gordon and Ryan Anderson, getting mad every time they don't pass him the ball back or they don't make the three immediately, they would just stop wanting to care.
I mean, I think you might be right because Harden is the spearhead of the team, and he's very like selfless in that regard. But who knows? Like with Eric Gordon and Ryan Anderson, like you said, they're veterans. I don't think they would have any issue talking back to Russell Westbrook. And on top of that, like Westbrook would have to play Mike D'Antoni's system, and so if he wants to be successful, he's going to have to learn how to share the ball and understand that sharing the ball doesn't mean you're not going to get the shot at the end. You may still end up getting the shot, but you just have to pass it around a little bit.
Yeah, I think part of the blame has to go on Coach Donovan as well, right? Like, it's even you can see it in the first two games of the series. Like, he doesn't have any idea what he's doing with the matchups. I feel like he's just throwing random combinations out there, hoping something sticks. Like, to me, I don't understand the trade now with the Bulls. Like, back when the trade happened, when they got Gibson and McDermott, like, I thought it was really good for them, but they don't even get playing time. Like, McDermott didn't even play the first game, and he's really the only shooter they have on the team, so I don't know why he's not getting, like, 25, 30 minutes a game. But you guys read Players Tribune?
Sometimes.
Yeah, so they I'm sure you guys, or at least Timmy, you probably read Ariza's essay about why Harden should be
Picasso?
MVP. Yeah, and it was really good, right? He gave a lot of you know little stories about what Harden does and what he brings to the game and how he is to the court. A couple days later, Players Tribune published another one from Enes Kanter about why Westbrook should be MVP. Do you guys read that?
No.
It was really funny back to back.
Gotta look that up right away.
Reading Ariza's and then reading Kanter's. Long story short, too long. If it's too long, you didn't want to read it. Pretty much, he says Westbrook should be MVP because when Enes Kanter broke his hand punching the chair, Westbrook didn't yell at him.
Wow.
And it shows how nice of a guy he is. That's pretty much the gist of the article.
I would have definitely yelled at Enes Kanter after he broke his hand punching a chair.
All right, so I have a question for you guys, and Timmy, you can answer first. But Russell Westbrook just completed, like, obviously a historic NBA season. He ended with the most triple doubles ever. He averaged a triple double. He had all these like game winners, all these 50-point triple doubles, 40-point triple doubles. Like, his box scores night in and night out were out of this world. But with that being said, would you still, if you were the owner of OKC right now, would you rather have Kevin Durant or would you rather have Russell Westbrook?
Kevin Durant.
What about you, Mike?
That was easy.
Yeah, that's the thing. So I know a couple of like really big Russell Westbrook fans, and they bring it up. They brought this question up like about KD versus Westbrook, and they said Westbrook, kind of what we've been talking about today. He got a lot of the blame, but from a talent standpoint, he was just as good, if not better, than Durant. But still, when it comes to that question, even though I love Russ Westbrook, he's one of my top 3 favorite players now.
Top 3?
yeah, I love rooting for him, but
Jeez.
KD, yeah, Kevin Durant is like generational. Like you can't find a 6'11" guy like that who can really do it all, and he's much better on defensive end, and he grabs real rebounds, not like kind of the what Westbrook ones just off. Like his defense doesn't take a hit when he tries to go for the rebound.
But you don't think averaging a triple double for the whole year is generational?
Honestly, it's very impressive, very very impressive, and I can't hate him. Like he carried me to fantasy trophy this year because
That's why.
I get it now.
but
It
at
all
the same
makes
time,
sense.
I feel like there's like 3 or 4 players in the league right now who could do it if they really wanted to.
Yeah, I guess like, Albie, do you think LeBron could have averaged a triple double for a season if he wanted to, like 2 years ago, even like last year?
Yeah.
I mean, he probably could have done it like 3 or 4 years in a row if he really wanted to, right?
Well, what's funny is this past year was actually his like career high in assists and career high in rebounds, and it's the first time in the history of the NBA for a player to enter his 14th year to have career highs in those two respective categories. But yeah, I mean, if he was like just super petty about like, I don't know, Wade leaving as soon as he got to Miami, Wade leaves to like Boston or something like that, and LeBron is just pissed off and he's like, F the world, and I'm just gonna like go on this tour of just killing everyone and just grabbing every assist and scoring every point. But he doesn't have that personality. Like LeBron is not like a natural born killer, in my opinion. He's more of like a, hey, let's have fun and let's get my teammates involved kind of thing.
He's a Magic Johnson.
Yeah, he's more Magic than he is like Kobe, and so I don't think even if he, like, obviously he has the skill set to average a triple double, but he just doesn't have the mindset. So that's why he would never.
No, I know he didn't because of that, and he won't. But the question was, could he have? And it sounds like you're saying yes. And I'm just happy that it sounds like pretty soon Mock is going to come join us on the other side too. KD.
I'm not on KD, but I'm just leaving a little bit of Russell Westbrook.
Okay, sure. We'll see.
I think I'm the most anti KD out of the three of us. And I think Mock knows that I've been anti KD for years, and it's not that I don't like him or don't respect him, because like I said, he's the second best player in the world, but I just feel like he always has like a pass. He's kind of like the anti-LeBron in that sense in the media. Like he would like not win the finals or lose the playoffs or something like that, but then it would be Russell Westbrook's fault or it's Scotty Brooks' fault. And so it was never really Kevin Durant. And so that's why I wasn't a huge fan. So, Mock, you said, in the 2011 finals when Miami was playing OKC, that's when
2012
or 2012. That's when your peak hate for Russell Westbrook was, and you said he'll never win a championship. Do you still feel that way, or do you think he can one of these days, whether it's OKC or another team? Do you think he's a championship type caliber player?
I remember that series so well, just because like they put Brooks had Harden on LeBron, and he just couldn't hold him. And I remember that one game, Westbrook went off for like 50 points, and they were down 3, and then he fouled on purpose, and then they lost the game because they hit the free throws and it was over. So it was just like little mental mistakes like that back then that I said that was the reason I said back then that Westbrook would never win a championship. Now I still think the same thing, but for different reasons. Like he still won't win a championship, but it's not because of he's not good enough. It's just the way he plays. Like I don't know how you build a team around him that can be successful for over a 2 or 3 year span for them to give him a chance.
I think he just needs to join the Warriors and then he'll win.
Yeah, the only way I can see is if he joined a incredible super team, and even so, he'd probably just derail it. They wouldn't enjoy playing anymore. It just, I can't see it happening. I mean, you never know, but I just can't see it happening.
Well, winning cures all things, right? So I feel like if he goes somewhere, and even if everyone has a sacrifice. As long as they're winning, I don't think people will get that upset.
No, I'm still going back to my pickup games. Like I would play with that guy, and we would win like a lot of games, and I would just not want to play on his team anymore. I just wanted to stop, and like I didn't care.
So you would rather
Maybe it's
lose.
just me.
You would rather lose than play with this guy?
Yeah, in that case, I would have rather been on the other team and like just trying to beat that guy and just playing and having more fun.
You are not Shane Battier.
Yeah.
What?
Shane would never say something like that.
So let's talk hypothetical. I'm just curious of what you guys would answer here. But let's say Russell Westbrook did like make amends with Kevin Durant and became BFFs with Steph Curry, and he joined the Warriors. Do you think they would put Klay on the bench now and have Steph and Russell Westbrook in the backcourt, or would Westbrook come off the bench? Like what do you think would happen there?
They wouldn't even sign him. They wouldn't even take him. He would just ruin the. Well, I mean, first of all, that's just too many guys. The only way is if they got rid of one guy.
Get rid of Klay. Get him out.
Logistically not possible, right? But and then second of all, they just wouldn't want him anyway.
But if they got rid of Klay, don't you think their team would be worse? Because then they'll be like,
there'll
be
way
no
worse.
spacing. Yeah.
No, because then you bring Curry off the ball, so they still have the shooting.
So
they still have Curry and Durant
you'll
on the
keep
wing.
Westbrook at point guard and then Curry as the off guard.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, by worse, I mean they probably win the championship in 6 games instead of 5. That's about all.
No, they get better, man. They get better with Westbrook instead of Klay.
Wait, so you don't think the Rockets are going to beat the Warriors, Timmy?
No, I gave my predictions. I don't think the Rockets are beating the Warriors. I would love for them to, but sorry, Mock. I'm not the believer you are.
Are you a Rockets
fan?
fan?
One of these days, you're gonna believe.
Are you a Rockets
I'm just the
fan,
realist.
Then? Didn't you get all that Rocket swag for your baby from us?
Yeah, it was great. I appreciate it.
Do you want to send it back?
That doesn't mean that I think that they're going to beat the Warriors.
Take it back.
I don't know if Kevin Durant isn't right by the conference finals. If he's got calf problems, he's got other leg problems, then I would definitely give the Rockets a great chance. But if he is at 90% plus, it's hard for me to see them take him down in 7.
Okay, so let's quickly go into the playoffs. So we talked about the Rockets and OKC. We think that's going to be a really easy finish. The Warriors and Portland. Do you guys think Portland has any chance there?
No. Sweep.
Wow, you think sweep as well?
Yeah, they got Chance the Rapper coming in the same day as Game 5 in Golden State, so they can't lose any games.
Oh, like he has a concert at the Oracle Arena that same night?
Yeah, they scheduled it the same day.
Oh my gosh, that is so disrespectful for Portland.
It's amazing.
I respect that a lot.
Wow. Okay. So the other series, Utah and LA Clippers. I don't know what the latest on Gobert is. So without Gobert, do you think Utah has a shot?
Yeah, Utah still has a shot. Not if Gobert was healthy, I think it'd be Jazz in like 5 or 6 games. I'm pretty high on the Jazz, and I'm rooting for them because they have a much better chance against the Warriors than Clippers ever would.
Yeah, I agree mostly with that. I think the Jazz probably would win if Gobert was healthy and win pretty handily, at least in 6 probably. But if he's out for a couple more games, in Game 2, they didn't look great. DeAndre Jordan dunked all over their team like the entire time. I would probably still take the Clippers if Gobert's not back by like Game 4.
Oh, so he is coming back?
I don't know the latest. I mean, I haven't seen any news on it. I think they were saying he's probably coming back Game 4, Game 5 or so.
Okay. So I want to dive deeper into this series, and mostly because of the Clippers. They have Chris Paul and Blake Griffin, I believe, as free agents this summer. And let's say they
and
lose,
JJ Redick.
And JJ Redick, and you love
all
JJ.
3 unrestricted?
You love JJ Redick.
Unrestricted, yeah.
Yeah,
I do.
You love his podcast, but
yeah.
Yeah, so this is, I think, what, year 5 or year 6 of the Blake Chris Paul experiment, and if they're gonna lose in the first round again, are they leaving? Are they out of LA Clippers?
Wait,
I think it's gonna come down. It's Blake CP and Redick are all free agents. It's gonna come down to the money, and part of it is the Clippers' decision, Doc and Steve Ballmer. If they want to give max contracts to CP and to Blake, they're probably just going to stay because they can offer, the most years, the most money. especially with CP being the old guy and the new agreement with the Players Association where he can, get a 5-year contract up to year 38 and get a max deal. If he can get it from the Clippers, he's definitely staying.
I hate the Clippers, so I hope that happens.
I think Redick is gone though.
So
yeah, I think it's pretty clear at this point that tandem CP3, not including Redick, but CP3, Blake, and DeAndre, they're fine regular season, kind of mediocre, like 3rd, 4th, 5th seed, but they can't really beat anyone in the playoffs. So as a Rockets fan, as a Clippers hater, me and Timmy, the resident haters on this podcast, I really hope that they max CP3 and Blake out. And
hey, Mock, what do you think would happen if, for some reason, the Clippers, instead of starting, I don't even know who their small forward is, Luke Mbabute or something? What if they had Trevor Ariza shooting threes, playing defense, getting steals at that position? Do you think that they would be way better?
Way better, yeah, way better for sure. Mbabute is like a big hindrance to that offense.
I mean, so maybe that core is fine, and they just need better other guys.
Well, they still don't have a bench, though. They still have Austin Rivers off the bench. They have no depth.
Well, so it's the same thing though. It's about the other guys, right? It's not about the big 3 or 4.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Blake Griffin at this point in his career, what is he? What does he?
He's
bring?
Awful.
Yeah.
I hate Blake Griffin. Oh man, he's the worst.
So what does he do? He can't. He gets his points by contorting his body and trying some ghost fouls, but
it's so ugly.
It's
it's really
funny because it's true. He is contorting so hard, twisting.
What an amazing transformation from one of the most amazing dunkers, high flyers, exciting players in the league to somebody who I never want to watch, and he's contorting his body so much to shoot little floaters and stuff.
My goal for the rest of this podcast is to say contorting a couple more times. So
is there a better word to describe
his
post game?
It's 100% accurate. He is contorting his body. So I have basically two answer choices when it comes to the Clippers. So do you think it was because the media and general NBA fans just overrated that core, and because that's why they never lived up to it, and it's very disappointing? Or do you think because they're actually a good team, but they are, timing wise, they have to go up against the Spurs and the Warriors, being as good as they are?
I really think that it really is about their depth and their other players. If they had, over the years, they've gone through so many small forwards and old guys and previous players that Doc had or played against. If they had gotten a couple better guys along the way, they would have made the conference finals at some point. I mean, they're the last team, I think, in the West that's beaten the Warriors in a series a few years ago before they got to the championship. And they also beat the Spurs the year after they won the championship.
Yeah, in the first
so
round.
I think they definitely could have done it. Especially, the collapse against the Rockets, they already would have been in the conference finals too.
It's funny you mentioned the conference finals. Chris Paul, he's never been to the conference finals. Do you think he is who we thought he was, or do you think he's just not very good?
Chris Paul is really good.
He's very good.
He's really good. I still bring it back to Blake Griffin. If he was better, or if he progressed in his career in his offense, now you have him trying to shoot threes and 20-footers. Their offense, if you watch it, is so easy to defend. They have no spacing. You just have to chase Redick around, and you give up the Blake Griffin jumpers. And then other than that, Chris Paul has nowhere else to go because the lane is clogged with DeAndre Jordan sitting there. So, obviously now with Gobert out, you have who should be the defensive player of the year this past year. You have him out of the lane, so DeAndre Jordan is ducking all over Boris Diaw, who's 40. But other than that, you play against a legit healthy team, their offense stagnates.
So
I have a random thought about that.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, just going back to Blake Griffin shooting. Like I mentioned before, I was at the Clippers-Rockets game 2 weeks ago, and I was watching Blake shoot, and then he was doing warm-ups and shooting. and it was truly awful to watch. I don't know. I feel like most NBA players, they know how to shoot well, and like it doesn't look bad. And same with Blake. Like he's got good form, but for some reason, I don't know if there was a hitch when he was jumping. Something about it was really ugly. I guess he was contorting his arms too much or something when he shot.
No, he doesn't have good form.
Does he not? Okay,
no,
never mind.
he definitely has a hitch in his shot. It's not smooth, and that's why it's always there's no arc in it. It's so low. So
yeah, really low.
It was ugly.
So yeah, so in terms of form, I would disagree. Like he doesn't have very good form. All right, so that's the West. Let's quickly tackle the East. Is anyone going to beat Cleveland and LeBron James?
Sweep.
Is he just
no?
You're saying sweep all the way to the finals?
No.
Oh no! It's too early to say that. We're just doing the first round, right?
All right, first round. Yeah, I mean.
Well, the sad thing is Pacers could really be up 2-1 at this point. Like after game one.
No, they couldn't.
Game 1 was nasty. Like, and Paul George, he's making his All NBA case right now. Still,
it's too late to make the case.
Do you think?
All I'm saying, he's on a different level than Jimmy Butler, man.
Do you think?
Are you kidding? Jimmy Butler's up 2-0.
Yeah, Chicago's up 2-0 as a number 8 seed, man. What are you talking about?
Come on. You guys see any of the games with the Pacers?
Nope,
like, you just feel so sorry for Paul George because he's stuck there with no talent around him.
Yeah, so do you think he's leaving Indiana?
What was that?
So do you
think
he's
leaving?
So you think Paul George is definitely leaving?
Yeah, I mean, but he can't even leave this year. It's not until next year. So he'll probably some kind of trade might happen. I would love to see a Blake Griffin for Paul George trade.
Why would anyone trade for Blake Griffin?
I don't know. It'd just be fun to see him contorting to a different team.
Yes, he can contort his body for like halftime shows.
All right, guys. Well, that was our NBA Megapod, apparently. It was 40 minutes long, so thank you for listening. We had a lot of opinions on Russell Westbrook and the rest of the NBA. Please follow us on Facebook at Six Pennies Podcast and subscribe to us on YouTube.